One stormy night, the sea becomes violent and dangerous. Thomas Curry, a lighthouse keeper, discovers an injured woman lying on the shore. Her name is Atlanta, a mysterious woman connected to the ocean. Thomas takes her into his home to help her recover. But strange things begin happening the moment she enters the house. The electricity suddenly shuts off on its own. Moments later, the woman wakes up and effortlessly lifts Thomas into the air. Fear and confusion are clearly visible on her face. Then, without warning, the television turns on by itself. Panicking, she pulls out her trident and destroys the TV with a single strike. However, she appears weak and exhausted. Seconds later, she collapses unconscious once again. The next morning, she wakes up and tries to understand this unfamiliar world, but when she notices a fish tank inside the house, her face instantly lights up with excitement. A moment later, she casually catches and eats the fish as if it were completely normal. Thomas is left shocked by her strange behavior. Even so, he decides to help her. Over time, he learns that she is not an ordinary woman, but the Princess of Atlantis who escaped an unwanted marriage. Despite belonging to two completely different worlds, the two slowly grow close to each other. Eventually, they have a son named Arthur. Arthur is born as a child of both worlds, half human and half Atlantean. For a while, their family lives peacefully together. But that peace does not last forever. One day, Atlantean soldiers suddenly attack their home to bring the princess back. Forced to fight, Atlanta defeats the soldiers using her incredible strength and combat skills. Still, she realizes the danger will never truly end. To protect her son from future threats, she makes the painful decision to return to the ocean. She leaves Thomas and Arthur behind. Years pass, and Arthur grows older. As he matures, he begins discovering extraordinary abilities. He can communicate with sea creatures and even control them. Arthur begins training to understand his true purpose. A loyal mentor teaches him how to fight, use a trident, and control his incredible powers. However, Arthur is still not fully prepared because his human emotions remain strong inside him. With time and training, he slowly becomes stronger. His mentor also teaches him about the history, traditions, and culture of Atlantis. Arthur eventually gains the ability to breathe underwater with ease. He can see clearly across great distances beneath the sea, and the immense pressure of the deep ocean no longer affects him. His swimming speed becomes incredibly fast, moving through the water like a missile. During this time, Arthur learns the painful truth about his family. After returning to Atlantis, his mother gives birth to another son. But when the king discovers that she once loved a human, he becomes furious and punishes her. Hearing this fills Arthur with both anger and sadness. At the same time, another dangerous situation unfolds elsewhere. A group of ruthless pirates hijacks a nuclear submarine. They loot the submarine and mercilessly kill innocent people. Among them is a young man working alongside his father for the first time. Eager to prove himself, he tries to show his worth during the mission. His father proudly gives him a special dagger, a symbol passed down through their family. But everything suddenly changes. Without warning, Arthur arrives at the submarine. He quickly takes control of the situation on his own. Bullets have little effect on him, and he uses heavy metal doors as shields while moving forward. As the enemies attack, Arthur defeats them one after another with ease. Some fire weapons, while others try to fight him directly, but none of them can stop him. Everyone becomes terrified by his overwhelming strength and incredible speed. Within minutes, Arthur successfully rescues all the hostages. But then the young pirate confronts him, determined to prove himself by defeating Arthur. He attacks with everything he has, but Arthur easily overpowers him. His weapons are useless against Arthur's strength. In just moments, the fight is over. The battle clearly reveals the massive difference between ordinary humans and Atlanteans. Then the pirate leader, the young man's father, steps forward with a new plan. He throws a grenade in an attempt to stop Arthur. A massive explosion fills the submarine with smoke and fire. But Arthur survives without serious injury. Before the pirate can escape, Arthur reacts instantly. He throws a metal rod with incredible force, pinning the pirate against the wall. Arthur does not want to kill him and decides to leave instead. However, blinded by greed and anger, the pirate launches another attack. This time, the situation turns disastrous. A powerful explosion damages part of the submarine, causing a massive torpedo to fall onto the pirate's leg. He becomes trapped and unable to move. Terrified, his son begs Arthur to save his father, but the pirate realizes there is no way out for him anymore. He tells his son to escape before it is too late. The young man refuses to leave him behind. Still, he is eventually forced to run for his own survival. Filled with pain, anger, and tears, he leaves his father behind and escapes. After these events, news of Arthur's bravery spreads around the world. People begin seeing him as a hero. One day, a group of strangers approaches him. At first, Arthur believes they might be dangerous, but in reality, they only want to take a photo with him. For the first time, Arthur realizes that he is no longer an ordinary man. People now see him as a hero, but he still has no idea that even greater challenges are waiting for him ahead. One night, Arthur is driving his father home when something strange suddenly happens in the ocean. A gigantic wave rises from the the sea, and a massive warship crashes onto the shore. Before Arthur can understand what is happening, an enormous tsunami strikes the entire area. Arthur somehow survives the chaos, but his father becomes trapped inside the car. Surrounded by dirty water, debris, and darkness, Arthur struggles to save him. Then, out of nowhere, a mysterious young woman appears. Using incredible power, she pushes back the rushing water and rescues Arthur's father. Although his father is unconscious, the girl uses her abilities to remove the water from his lungs and bring him back to life. To Arthur, it feels like a miracle. But when he looks around, he sees complete destruction everywhere. The entire village has been devastated. The next day, news of the disaster spreads across the world. Media reports reveal that similar attacks have happened in multiple locations. Ships, ocean debris, and even giant war vessels have been thrown onto shore by massive waves. To the public, it appears to be a series of natural disasters. However, the real truth is far more dangerous. This destruction was planned intentionally. Deep beneath the ocean, an important meeting is taking place among the rulers of Atlantis. Suddenly, a powerful explosion shakes the underwater kingdom. Everyone is shocked when they discover that a human nuclear submarine has launched an attack using torpedoes. The first explosion creates panic throughout the city. Then a second attack causes even greater destruction. Massive rocks collapse, countless soldiers are killed, and chaos spreads everywhere. It seems as though humanity has officially declared war on Atlantis. At that moment, Orm, the ocean master, immediately fights back. Using his powers and advanced weapons, he attacks the submarine. When another torpedo approaches, he stops it in mid-water. Then, using the power of his trident, he completely destroys the submarine. The rulers of the other underwater kingdoms are stunned by what they witness. They begin believing that humans are now enemies of the sea, but the truth is completely different. The entire attack was secretly planned by Orm himself. He had hired pirates to create the conflict and manipulate the other kingdoms into hating humanity. His real goal is far greater than simply ruling the ocean. Orm wants to conquer the entire world. This is why a princess seeks out Arthur. She reveals the truth and explains that only he can stop the coming war. Arthur carries the blood of both humans and Atlanteans, making him the bridge between the two worlds. Now Arthur faces an important choice. Will he fight against his own brother to stop the war, or will he allow the world to fall into destruction? Arthur finally travels with the princess toward the hidden underwater kingdom. When he arrives in Atlantis, he is left speechless. Everywhere he looks, he sees advanced technology, glowing structures, and a civilization far beyond anything on the surface world. The city is protected by powerful security systems and surrounded by a massive energy shield. Without permission, entering Atlantis is nearly impossible. However, the princess has special permission, allowing both of them to enter Atlantis without difficulty. Soon, they arrive at an ancient sunken ship protected by powerful magic. Their mentor is already waiting for them there. He explains that the only way to stop Orm is to find the lost golden trident, the legendary weapon that holds the true authority over the seven sea kingdoms. While the three discuss their plan, a sudden attack takes place. Arthur's arrival has not gone unnoticed, and enemy soldiers quickly surround them. Arthur immediately fights back and defeats the guards one after another. But the danger does not end there. Soon, elite soldiers wearing powerful red armor enter the battle. They are far stronger and more dangerous than the previous guards. Their presence alone creates an intense and frightening atmosphere. Even so, Arthur refuses to surrender. He fights with everything he has and counters their attacks with great determination. Despite his efforts, Arthur is eventually overwhelmed. After taking several powerful hits, he falls unconscious. Meanwhile, the princess secretly escapes to search for help. When Arthur wakes up, he discovers that he has been chained and imprisoned. Standing before him is his brother Orm, now officially crowned as king. The two brothers begin arguing fiercely. Filled with anger, Arthur challenges Orm to a direct duel. Many people expect Orm to refuse the challenge, but he accepts immediately. He wants to defeat Arthur publicly and prove his superiority to everyone. The winner of the duel will be recognized as the true champion. As Orm enters the arena, the crowd erupts with cheers and support for their king. But when Arthur appears, the audience insults him and calls him a traitor and an outsider. From the very beginning, it becomes clear that this fight is not only about strength, but also about honor and acceptance. The battle begins, and Orm quickly takes control of the fight. Having spent his entire life underwater, he holds a major advantage in combat beneath the sea. Every attack from Orm carries tremendous force. Arthur struggles to keep up and slowly begins losing strength. After a fierce exchange, Orm lands a devastating blow that throws Arthur out of the arena. Just as Orm prepares to finish the fight, the situation suddenly changes. A powerful current rushes through the water and pushes Orm away. The princess has intervened to rescue Arthur. After escaping, Arthur and Mira uncover an important clue connected to the golden trident. Together, they begin a dangerous journey to find the legendary weapon. Their first destination is the hidden ruins of of ancient Atlantis beneath the Sahara Desert. There, they encounter the spirit of an ancient king, who presents them with a mysterious riddle. After solving the puzzle, they discover that the real golden trident is hidden somewhere else. Without wasting time, they travel to Sicily in search of the next clue. Using intelligence and teamwork, they finally uncover the location of the trident. But just as they get close to their destination, a massive explosion suddenly shakes the area. A dangerous new enemy appears before them. It is the same man Arthur defeated in the past, but now he has returned stronger than ever. With advanced technology and a powerful armored suit, he has become far more dangerous than before. The enemy was secretly created by Orm to eliminate Arthur once and for all. A brutal battle quickly begins between the two warriors. The fight spreads across deserts, ancient ruins, and the open sea. Arthur faces countless challenges during the battle, but his mission remains clear. He must obtain the golden trident at any cost and stop his brother's dangerous plan. Mera stands beside him and supports him throughout the fight. Suddenly, a serious danger appears nearby. A massive bell begins falling toward an innocent young girl. Arthur rushes forward and protects her, risking his own life in the process. But the enemy uses this moment to launch another attack. He drives a powerful electric spear into Arthur's back. The weapon carries an extremely high voltage of electricity. Even while suffering intense pain, Arthur refuses to surrender. He grabs the spear and forcefully pulls the enemy closer to him. As Arthur removes the weapon, he realizes it is long, sharp, and extremely deadly. Before he can fully react, the enemy attacks once again using his old weapon. Arthur uses all of his strength to throw the enemy away from him, but the enemy leaps back into the air and attacks again without slowing down. At that moment, Arthur notices an opening. He quickly lifts a heavy object from the ground and hurls it directly at the enemy's neck. A massive explosion follows, sending the enemy crashing into a deep pit. For a brief moment, it seems like the danger is finally over. Meanwhile, Mera becomes surrounded by enemy soldiers. During the fight, she falls into an underground chamber where the enemies capture her. At the same time, the water supply system is accidentally shut down. For Atlanteans, water is as essential as air is for humans. The situation quickly becomes life-threatening. Even so, Mera refuses to panic. Using her powerful abilities, she releases a massive blast that destroys the prison and defeats the enemies around her. Once everything becomes quiet again, she discovers Arthur lying badly injured nearby. She rescues him, and after some time, Arthur slowly regains consciousness. Together, they continue their journey toward the hidden location of the Golden Trident. The path leads them to a dangerous sea trench near the Forgotten Kingdom, but the danger is far from over. Without warning, a terrifying sea monster suddenly appears before them. Arthur fearlessly attacks the creature, but this only makes it even more aggressive. Soon, giant monsters begin surrounding and invading their ship. The situation becomes so dangerous that Arthur and Mera are forced to abandon the vessel and jump into the ocean. However, the scene beneath the water is even more horrifying. Millions of terrifying sea creatures are swimming everywhere around them. These monsters were once part of an ancient underwater kingdom, but transformed into savage creatures over time. Mera tries to clear a path using her powers, but even she struggles against the overwhelming number of creatures. Despite the danger, the two somehow manage to escape deeper into the ocean. But the deeper they go, the stranger and more dangerous everything becomes. Suddenly, a mysterious bright light appears and changes the entire situation. Just when escape seems impossible, an unknown force rescues Arthur and Mera. They are transported into a completely hidden world beneath the sea. It is a secret underwater realm unlike anything they have ever seen before, and this is where the story takes its biggest turn. The one who rescues them turns out to be someone Arthur never expected to see again. It is his mother, Atlanta, whom everyone believed had died years ago. The emotional reunion between mother and son brings a powerful turning point to the story. The truth is finally revealed. She was never dead. Instead, she had been trapped inside this secret underwater realm for many years. Atlanta explains that there is only one way to escape from this place. The path leads to the legendary Golden Trident, which is guarded by a terrifying sea creature known as Carathan. According to legend, the monster only obeys the true king of the sea. Arthur fearlessly moves forward to face the creature. However, the battle quickly turns against him. With a single strike, Carathan throws Arthur aside effortlessly. The difference in their power is enormous. At first, victory seems impossible for Arthur, but in the final moment, the hidden power within him finally awakens. Arthur uses his rare ability to communicate with sea creatures. This unexpected ability causes Carathan to stop attacking. For the first time, the ancient monster no longer sees Arthur as an ordinary human. Instead, Carathan recognizes him as the rightful heir to Atlantis. At that moment, everything changes. Carathan accepts Arthur as the true king. Arthur finally claims the Golden Trident. The moment he holds the weapon, incredible power awakens inside him. His eyes begin glowing and the entire ocean seems to respond to his presence. Arthur is no longer just a warrior. He has now become the true king of the ocean. Meanwhile, Orm continues his mission to conquer every underwater kingdom and rule the entire world. Leading a massive army, he launches attacks across the seas. Thousands of warships move through the ocean like an unstoppable storm. Using advanced weapons and powerful forces, Orm crushes enemy defenses while riding a giant armored shark into battle. Everywhere he goes, destruction follows behind him. On the other side, the opposing kingdoms continue fighting back with their strongest soldiers and weapons. The war becomes more brutal and dangerous with every passing moment. For a brief time, it appears that Orm may actually win the war. Then everything suddenly changes. The ground beneath the ocean begins to crack apart. Fire and molten lava erupt from deep below the sea. Moments later, a gigantic sea monster rises from the depths. The creature is so massive that even enormous warships look tiny beside it. Standing on top of the beast is Arthur himself. He has completely transformed into a true king. Holding the glowing golden trident in his hand, Arthur's presence alone makes it clear who the rightful ruler truly is. His arrival changes the entire battle instantly. With his new powers, Arthur easily pushes back the enemy forces. Warships and advanced weapons become useless against him. The momentum of the war shifts in a single moment. Soldiers begin retreating in fear as Arthur overwhelms the battlefield. Now only two brothers remain standing against each other. Arthur and Orm prepare for the final battle. Riding their giant sea creatures, the two brothers face one another as the ultimate duel begins. This time, Arthur fights with intelligence and strategy. He pulls his brother out of the deep water and onto the surface, where Orm's strength becomes weaker. At first, Orm still dominates the battle and launches powerful attacks that force Arthur backward. However, Arthur quickly regains control and begins using the new abilities he has mastered. He commands the water itself and creates a massive vortex attack that completely changes the fight. Even Arthur's mentor is shocked by the incredible power of this technique. Orm continues attacking recklessly, but Arthur is no longer the same warrior as before. His true power has finally awakened. At the perfect moment, he catches Orm's trident and destroys the weapon completely. For the first time, Orm realizes that he has been defeated, but instead of killing his brother, Arthur chooses to stop the fight. He wants to end the conflict without more hatred or bloodshed. Even then, Orm remains filled with anger because he believes Arthur caused their mother's death. Suddenly, Atlanta appears before them and reveals the truth. She is alive and has always loved both of her sons equally. Hearing this truth breaks Orm emotionally, and he finally understands his mistakes. At that moment, the long conflict between the two brothers finally comes to an end. Arthur is officially recognized as the rightful king of Atlantis. Soon after, he is crowned as the true king of the sea. With the power of the golden trident, Arthur unites all 7 kingdoms and brings the war to an end.